Uh, wow. Hi, Melanie. This means, yeah, there you go. How excited I am to be back today. It's been a while. I'm Robert Mandelson, the creator and facilitator of powerful play experiences, positive workplace mental health for teams. And it's been a while. It's been a while since I've recorded yet another amazing interview for a series that I call Robert's Search for Well-Being, Robert's Search for Wellness and Well-Being. Meet amazing experts like Melanie, ready to support you and me change how we all feel for the better. Wow, that's one great title. That's one great
title.
pretty long title. And it's been a while, I think well over a month since I've met amazing experts like Melanie. And if you're here joining us for this awesome, hopefully short and to the point interview, it's Thursday, July the 13th. And you may be watching this video recording, this amazing interview with Melanie on some other day, but that's okay. So apparently you're Melanie.
I am. That's what they say. That's what my card says.
You're Melanie Peters Bright. Mm-hmm. And just so that everybody knows that Melanie and I are very, very, very dear friends. And it's not like we're meeting here for the first time. No. And you can find Melanie on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Melanie Peters Bright, as in Bright. And so connect with Melanie. You rock, girl. You rock, girl.
Thank you. Thank you.
Melanie and I had a wonderful chat just before I hit the record button. And I want you to sit back and relax, hear Melanie's stories, because she's one amazing woman. We'll tackle a couple of things that Melanie does in many amazing ways. For example, I understand, Melanie, that you are what is commonly known as a mental health first aid instructor.
That's right. Yeah, okay. I am. I've been teaching that for about 2 years.
So tell me a bit about Melanie. Where do you live? What do you do? What's this mental health first aid instructor thing?
So I live down in the Crow's Nest Pass. So I'm down in the southwest corner of Alberta, right on the BC border.
Alberta, Canada.
Alberta, Canada, yes. And I do mental health first aid. As I said, I've been teaching it for about 2 years. I took it myself the year before that. It looks at anxiety, it looks at depression, it looks at recovery and some addictions, and how it helps people learn how to communicate, how to listen, how to observe what's going on with these conversations you might be having, sometimes difficult conversations with friends, family, coworkers, someone you meet in the coffee shop.
Okay, so let's step back a minute. The term mental health first aid in itself is different from what we traditionally know as just first aid. So yeah. What is this mental health first aid? And you said you teach it, so it sounds like it's a course.
It is. So it's the virtual version. People sign up for a class, and there's the first module they do on their own time. It takes about 2 hours.
Yep.
Then they send their facilitator their certificate of completion, and we do modules 2 and 3 together, which is about 6 hours online time together in a group, and there's lunch break in there, and we go through the Mental Health Commission of Canada's course. So how to listen, how to communicate, how to evaluate some things that you're hearing, It's very important to note we don't counsel, and we're not therapists, we don't counsel. We're just here to listen.
Okay, so let's step back. The term mental health first aid, I'm not getting it. And just so that everybody who's watching this interview, just so that you know, um, Melanie has been wonderfully authentic and open with me, as I have been with her. And both Melanie and I live with and manage depression and anxiety. So a lot of the work that we do, we're highly motivated from a personal point of view to change the world's thinking, to change the world's stigma. Melanie calls it stomping stigma, but to change the world's stigma around the whole idea of mental health. And I think through mental health first aid, you're beginning to change people's thinking about what is mental health and how we can support one another through our daily mental health. But mental health first aid, I'm not getting it.
It helps give people tools to, if they see someone at the bus stop, in the coffee shop, that might be anxious, really, really anxious and really, really tight or really low. And the sky is a different color in their world that day. Which is how I refer to it. Some days the sky is a different color. It's dark, right?
Wait a minute. I'm going to write that down. The sky's a different color, but it's more than just picking up or observing others in the general public, right?
Yes.
This is you're arming people with tools, the participants in your course, to better respond to other people's challenges, personal challenges with mental health or mental illness. Is that so?
That's right. Or to pick up maybe key phrases in a conversation where you could say, oh, the mental health first aider would learn and say, oh, ding, ding, ding. Tell me more about that. Learning to use more open-ended questions, and just, to be an open listener, be receptive to whatever, maybe pick up on key terms to say, tell me more about that.
Okay, so let's if and when I take a first aid course, I need to be recertified. Just first aid. The first aid course is preparing me to respond to some level of a crisis that is taking place, a physical crisis that's taking place with somebody. But the way you just described mental first aid, a mental health first aider, is not just responding to someone in crisis. They're just responding to the everyday mental health of people they come in contact with. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
It's just an everyday response and how we listen, how we receive what we hear, and how we respond back. So it's not necessarily we're throwing in a mental health first aider into a crisis, somebody's crisis with mental health.
No, you're hoping not to get there, right? Because you're hoping to being able to let someone know they're being listened to, and somebody picked up on the terms that they use that maybe signals that I'm struggling, or today's not a good day, or whatever, and just to have the conversation and to let the person know that somebody's there to listen. Yes. Yeah, exactly. That's it. 100%. I'm not myself today.
So let's have a bit of fun here. So if we weren't doing the interview and we came onto Zoom here today together, and you said Hey, Rob.
Yeah, how's your day going? What's new in your world today?
Melanie, it's one of those days when the sky's a different color. It's a different color. In fact, I'm really not myself today.
Tell me what that looks like for you today, Robert. Why, what color is your world today?
Yeah. Well, it's definitely not the blue sky that I felt yesterday. Um, I don't know if I could tag a color to it. Um, but I'm just not happy with myself. I uh, once again, I got out of bed like way too late to start my day. So I'm kind of beating myself up about it.
I hear that. I have those days. And, I understand, some days we just have to be gentle with ourselves and just know that tomorrow will be better. But what usually helps you on days like this when you're struggling a bit? What generally makes you feel better? What helps?
Okay, I get it now, Melanie. I get it, Melanie. So it's mental health first aider. We're arming people with, um, I'm not a big fan of the word tools or skills in this scenario, but more of just a way of being there for somebody who may not be in a mental health space that they're comfortable with. So teaching or training, instructing people how to be in a space, a particular space for people experiencing a different color sky on a particular day.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fascinating. And you're an instructor certified through the Canadian Mental Health Commission
Yes.
or the Mental Health Commission of Canada.
Yes.
And is one part of the course is you do independently on your own, and the
Yes.
other part has a number of segments that they do with you.
Mhm.
And you said it's done virtually?
Yes. There's Before COVID,
Yeah.
there were in person, they had larger in person classes. But now people have found virtual is just, you can get what you need out of it. So it's virtually together. It's a 6 hour slot of time. And we do modules 2 and 3 together. We have lunch, everybody has a lunch break in there. And there's a lot of group work.
Yes.
We work with one another and learn different ways of speaking or different ways of listening and what has worked for some people. Like there's communication is a big thing, when you're not feeling yourself. And sometimes even just the fact of sitting beside someone instead of looking right at them makes it easier to talk, right? Like my son's code all growing up was, come on, mom, let's go for a drive.
This is cool.
Okay. And that was his code. He needed to talk and he didn't want anybody to overhear. We couldn't get out of the car. But that was our time. We didn't have to look at one another and it was easier to talk.
I know that. I know that scenario. I know that scenario with my wife and I.
Exactly.
So who signs up for such a course? Mental health first aid. Who signs up for such a course?
Anybody. I've had retired folks who um, want to learn more about mental health when they go to the senior center for coffee Friday morning, so they can identify a little bit more. I have social service workers, I've got teachers, I've got other first responders, people who um, maybe their children or their nieces and nephews are struggling with their mental health for whatever reason, and they want to be able to understand a little bit more or learn maybe what a better response would be.
So it sounds like just like a broad range of people who care. People who
Yes,
care. It's all
yes,
about
people
people
who
who
care and
care.
want to learn to do better.
You mentioned first responder,
Mhm.
and I'd like to start looking at wrapping this up. But before we do, um, you you were telling me before we hit the record button that once upon a time you were a construction safety officer medic,
Yeah.
or more commonly known as a first responder.
Yeah. Yeah, I did both.
Unbelievable. I don't think I've ever met a live first responder. It's not like I hang around with first responders. And so, wow, I'm wowed. Wow me more about that. What's up with that?
Yeah, I had a bookkeeping business. I was a bookkeeper for 15 years, and I was at a point in my life where some change was needed. So I had a midlife crisis, and I got my first tattoo, and I went off and became a construction safety officer, and took all the high angle rescue and the confined space rescue and hazmat and the whole 9 yards. And then, as well as I did that for a while, and then I became an EMR. I became an emergency medical responder, and did some work in that for about 3 years.
And so you've been in the ambulance doing the ride.
Oh yeah, woohoo!
So it's fair to say you've seen it all.
Not all, but I've seen a lot.
What drives you to do what you do in the area of mental health?
Like you mentioned, I've struggled with anxiety and depression in my life. My son has as well, and it's my role in my family, and I've been the caretaker. I've been the caretaker and the caregiver, and it's hard when someone you love is really suffering from with their mental state, and you can't. There's not much you can do, and I just
But
like
the mental health first aid course,
mhm, it helps.
the message is there is something you can do.
There is something, even if it's little things, open-ended questions, the way you listen, the way you engage. There is there are things you can do.
What um what might be a final message you'd like to send out to everybody?
Look after yourself. Be gentle with yourself, and sign up for a mental health first aid course. Read more about it to be able to pick up the key words that people might be saying to you in phrases when you meet or pass casually. You might be able to make a real difference in their life or their day and make them feel seen.
And what's the best way to find you? I know you're on LinkedIn,
Yeah,
Melanie Peters Bright. You can find her right here on LinkedIn.
yes.
Connect with her, as I have done. Other ways to find you, get information about you, the course, and signing up.
Probably LinkedIn is the best way to find me.
Okay, that's a great start right there.
Yep, that's the best place to find me right now.
I'm going to surprise you with something.
Uh-oh.
And by the way, I want people to find Melanie. Go find her. She's not
Yes,
lost. What's
find me.
that? What's that?
Find me.
Yeah, find Melanie. That's the name of her next book. Find Melanie. Find Melanie. I'll illustrate the book. You can write the book.
There we go.
Have you ever seen something like this?
No. It looks like a first aid kit, but not your mental health box. Oh my God, I love that.
Yes, it's a mental health first aid kit.
That is fabulous.
And I thought I'd surprise you with that.
That is awesome.
I take no credit for putting this together. I take no credit. If you look closely, a wonderful organization here in it's based in Alberta, but across Canada, called Wellness Works Canada.
Okay.
And you can buy these online on the website, on the Wellness Works Canada website. And it's filled. See if we can show you. I can't really see. It's filled with a bunch of goodies.
Oh my God.
Yes, it says here specifically designed for leaders in the workplace who are attentive to the mental health of their team and want to support mental health in the workplace. And there's all kinds of little goodies in here. Um, we even have, oh, let's chat you matter wristbands. Of course, I'm just scraping the surface of what's in here. And, there's pamphlets and booklets and, little gadgets and stuff. And it's really about starting the conversation about mental health in the workplace, but to do it in a fun way through what is called this mental health box, or more commonly known by most of us as the mental health first aid kit.
That is amazing.
Yeah, I thought I'd surprise that or surprise you. I bought one for my wife Sharon for Christmas. She wasn't too impressed. She wasn't too impressed. So it kind of sits here in the office and not much is happening.
I gotta get one of those.
Gotta get, it just might, shift how a little bit in a nice way the delivery of mental health first aid.
100%.
And so I thought I'd share that with you. Here, we'll put that aside over here.
Fabulous. I gotta get me one of those.
Yeah, you gotta get me one of those. You've shifted my energy from not myself today to feeling like myself today by being in your energy today. And my story was true. I got up way too late this morning, like way too late. And I have to shift my going to bed habits and stop going to bed at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning.
That'll do it.
Yeah, it's not helping my mental health at all. And
No.
so I'm awakening way too late. And then once I start falling behind, I start beating myself up. And then the momentum starts around me not feeling very good about myself. But enough about me. Enough about me. Melanie Peters-Bright, mental health first aid instructor, certified through the Mental Health Commission of Canada, construction safety officer, first responder, bookkeeper, mother of a young boy, a son.
He's 24. He's not that young anymore.
Oh, he's not. What's that?
He's 24. He's not that young anymore.
I was thinking like 14 or 15.
No, he's 24.
Let's see what else. A speaker. We haven't even said anything about the fact that you're a speaker.
Yeah, and, I've started speaking on anxiety, depression, and stigma and self-care.
Say that again.
On anxiety and depression, as well as stigma and self-care, the importance of it.
So very, very quickly, your term stomping stigma. Did you make that up?
No.
No, you're supposed to say yes.
Okay, yes, I did, Robert.
Okay. What does that mean, stomping stigma?
Well, the negative little voices in your head, the self-stigma. I'm not going to ask for help because I'm strong enough. I should be able to handle this. I can do it.
Oh, okay.
But you feel, you're not good enough for that. You're too heavy. You shouldn't be standing in front of people talking because, and learning to stop the negative voices in your head telling you can't do it, or you shouldn't ask for help, or you shouldn't take a risk. It's important to stop those environmental and community, the stigmas in the world that asking for help when you're struggling is a bad thing. It's important to squash them.
I hate that word stigma. I just hate it. And I think I've used it more today with you than I have in the past year. I just don't even use the word.
No, it's awful. It
is. It's totally awful. Totally awful. Did I say you matter? Did I say that?
Not
yet. You totally matter. You totally matter, Melanie. And Melanie's all about the yes. She's all about the yes. And before we go very, very quickly, I want everyone to know that I have met Melanie, although she lives fairly south of me here in the province of Alberta. I had the wonderful pleasure of meeting Melanie recently at a conference of which I presented a play-based fun workshop
Yes.
And Melanie was kind enough to register to attend and play with me. And
Awesome.
yeah, I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for that.
Well,
Okay.
I so enjoyed it.
Yeah. We remember nothing but the fun. That's
Yeah,
the beauty of my workshops. People walk and say, I don't remember much about what I learned, but heck, it was a lot of fun.
it was fun.
It was
Yeah.
fun. You have been listening to Robert's Search for Wellness and Well-Being. Meet amazing experts, just like Melanie, ready to support you and me, change how we all feel for the better. And I'll tell you what, I am feeling better. Just being present in your energy and your optimism, your mental health optimism. People, get real and reach out for Melanie, and you too will experience her wonderful mental health optimism and her good energy. Thank you very much, Melanie.
Thank you, Robert.
You bet. We're going to click the record button, and Melanie and I are going to continue chatting. And hopefully we'll see everybody soon for yet another edition of Robert's Search for Wellness and Well-Being.